Meeting of the Planning, Zoning, and Building Committee. Roll call, please.
Alderman Art Woods.
Here.
Alderman Curielli.
Here.
Alderwoman Fonseca.
Here.
Alderman Carr.
Here.
Alderman Sismarski. Alderwoman Ames.
Here.
Alderman Artie Woods.
Here.
And Alderman Catalano.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for August 14th, 2025 of the Planning,
Second.
Zoning, and Building Committee. Any questions, comments, adjustments? There being none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Before proceeding to the report and recommendation, the mayor would like to read a couple correspondence into the record.
Okay, since we have no council meeting next week, Wooddale Public Library, dear city council members, on behalf of Wooddale Public Library, of trustees and staff, thank you for your support for the summer reading program. The Prairie Fest Carnival wristbands approved by you proved to be the prize incentive kiddos needed to read over the summer. On Sunday, June 29th, we awarded 130 unlimited ride wristbands out of nearly 200 who qualify. Here are the official total numbers for our June 1st through August 15th program. 257 kids and teens read a total of 4,394 hours. 101 adults read a total of 1,773 books. That's a whole lot of reading for one city. Summer reading began as an initiative to help students avoid the summer slide, a concept in which students who lose learning opportunities over the summer are less prepared than they could be for the start of the school year. Prizes, activities, and other incentives such as the wristbands allow readers of all ages to work toward a goal that's tangible. Reward is often just as, if not more important than intangible reward of everything reading has to offer. We could not have had a successful start to our summer reading program without your support. A huge shout out goes to Janelle, too, for working with us to help coordinate this program and our overall involvement at Prairie Fest. We look forward to working with you on future projects, and please reach out if we need any support. The other one is the Bensenville Food Pantry. It basically says Hunger Action Month 2025 will be observed throughout the month of September. The month is dedicated to raising awareness about hunger and encouraging action to combat food insecurity. As a member of Feeding America's network of food pantries, the Bensenville Wooddale Food Pantry is launching an awareness campaign for Hunger Action Month 2025. Hunger insecurity occurs when a household cannot access enough food due to a lack of money and other essentials. It is often linked to one of our multiple factors that lead to food insecurity, creating a cycle that can be hard to break. For over 50 years, Bensenville Wooddale Food Pantry has dedicated for providing food, compassion, and hope to our neighbors in need. All operational phases of the Bensenville Wooddale Food Pantry are staffed entirely by volunteers, along with funded entirely by monetary and food donations. In recognition of Hunger Month, we are seeking a monetary donation from the city of Wooddale to ensure the Bensenville Wooddale Food Pantry continues their commitment to provide nutritious food and timely services to the member of our service area. Thank you all in advance for helping us in the Hunger Action Month community-wide effort to ensure that all neighbors have access to food that they need. So Jeff, I'll just give this to you. I'm sure the other letter will be coming right behind this one. So our next meeting is not till October for council. So I figured, let me get it out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We have two items this evening. The first is an approval to draft a facade improvement grant agreement with O'Hare Industrial LLC for exterior building and site improvement expenses at 858 North Central Avenue in the amount not to exceed $59,447.63. I think I'll make that motion.
Second.
Tracy, do you have some
I
comments
do
you'd like
have
to make?
a short presentation. So the applicant is O'Hare Industrial LLC, and the owner of the property is Jonah Lowenfeld. And he is here this evening along with his property manager, and they will be able to answer your questions at the end. And if you want a presentation, they can certainly provide it. The property itself is located at the intersection, north of the intersection of Central Avenue and Sievert. It's zoned I-1 Industrial District, and it's located in the TCC Thorndale Corporate Corridor Overlay District. These are existing pictures of the multi-tenant building, and right now it's home to various light manufacturing, logistics, and office uses. You will remember that last year, in July of 2024, the City Council approved some amendments to the facade agreement to make that program more attractive to property owners and to expand eligibility to additional properties. And so this is the first application for facade grant that we've had come forward in the industrial district. So basically, the facade guidelines say if you're in the industrial district and you are on one of these community gateway corridors, you are eligible to apply. So this is the first one we have, and this property is located on Central, so they are eligible to apply. So the property owner is proposing a variety of improvements, including painting the entire facade of the building and the kind of mansard roofing elements. They are proposing to renovate and paint the exterior dock doors. They are proposing to replace some lighting and all of their wall-mounted lighting. And I know you can't read this, but they are proposing landscaping around the entire foundation of the building. They are proposing the addition of 198 plantings that would include shrubs, grasses, and perennials. So while the owner is investing a total of over $1 million in this renovation, only about $158,000 of it is eligible for the program, for the grant. This slide shows the estimated costs based on the low bid. They had to get 2 bids at least. And so it's $158,000 in eligible expenses. Now, the way the facade improvement grant works is there's ranking, in each application is given a number of points depending on the scoring criteria. The most you could possibly get anywhere in town is 20 points. The staff recommended and rated this at 9 points, which would have put them in the 25% scoring category here. The petitioner himself rated himself as a 12, which would have put him in the 37.5% category. And after discussion, Streetscape decided on 11 points, which does put them in the recommended category of 37.5% of facade grant. And the total amount for that grant would be about $59,447.63. The Streetscape Committee recommended 5-2 to enter into a grant agreement with the property owner not to exceed 37.5% of eligible costs and an amount not to exceed $59,000 and change. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions if there are any, and like I said, the petitioner is here for questions as well.
Questions?
As far as, I'm sorry.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes. So as far as the budget, we exceeded the 200,000 for this year, right? So how's this going to play into our budget?
So I spoke with Finance Director Wilson before this meeting, and the one that we approved is under construction right now and likely won't be completed before next fiscal year. So that one is likely to be paid out of the following year. And right now, he's also looking at there's some savings in other areas, and he's looking at some funding methods and for some existing projects, and he's highly optimistic we'll be able to fund this.
So the other project won't be in jeopardy?
No.
Any other questions? Alderman Woods?
The applicant?
Applicants are here.
Do they
You
wish
care
to say anything?
add
or-
anything?
I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Anyone has? I'm good.
All right. Roll call, please.
Alderman Art Woods.
Yes.
Alderman Currielli.
Yes.
Alderwoman Fonseca.
No.
Alderman Carr.
No.
Alderwoman Ames.
No.
Alderman Artie Woods.
Yes.
Alderman Catalano.
No.
No, it doesn't pass. Okay. Next item, text amendment to allow additional permitted uses in the C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. That's my motion.
Second.
Stacy, you have anything to say?
I do have a presentation. So this is a text amendment request, and the petitioner is, oops, I'm sorry about that. This is a facade improvement, I'm sorry, a zoning text amendment request, and the petitioner is Joe Tulo, the owner of property at 365 Irving Park Road. He is requesting a text amendment to the C1 zoning district to add 3 permitted uses to the C1 district. Specifically, he's asking that the list of permitted uses be amended to include contractor's office, internet sales with warehouse, printing establishments, and printing establishments. So if those changes are made, that would add these 3 uses as permitted uses in this district. So it would affect all of the properties in C1 zoning, not just the petitioner's property. And I should mention that the applicant has indicated that he doesn't necessarily have any of these types of tenants interested in moving in right now, but he's run into instances where he's had users that were interested that would require a special use, and then they weren't interested in moving forward with the property because it takes 3 months or so to go through the special use approval process. So the C1 is one of the smaller districts, zoning districts in the city, and it's divided into 4 primary areas. You can see those, all of the C1 zoning districts outlined in dark blue. So really, in the town center area, it's mostly city-owned land. There's a few residences here. Alhira is here. There's some 3-flat apartment buildings, an office park down here, and then the area that Mr. Tulo's property is in over here on Irving Park Road. So a contractor's office is a use that allows offices for off-site services for construction, maintenance, and repairs of buildings, structures, or equipment, and this may include storage of equipment and materials. Right now, it's permitted in all of the industrial districts and all of the commercial districts except the C1. So this one, isn't necessarily a stretch to go ahead and add it to the C1 zoning district. It is a special use in the TCB, the Town Center Business District, and this use and the other 2 uses all require 4 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet of area. Internet sales with a warehouse, that's basically defined as a dedicated facility designed to store and manage inventory for online businesses. So that is permitted only right now in the C3 district. And that the only C district that we have in the city right now is on Potter Street. So that's a more intensive commercial district, and that's where this is currently allowed. It's the only district where it's allowed in the city. The last one is printing establishments, and that's defined as a business or shop where the printing services are offered. This is another one that's only permitted in the C3 district. It's not permitted anywhere else. And on Potter Street, again, is the only place it's allowed because that's where the C3 district is. There is no requirement to adopt findings of fact for a text amendment, and the proposed text amendments are consistent with the comp plan and the UDO. And the Community Development Commission recommended approval of the request by a vote of 6-0. That concludes my presentation. The property owner, Joe Tulo, is here in the audience, along with his attorney, Marshall Subak. They're available for questions, and if you would like a presentation from them, they can also provide that.
Did you have a presentation, Mark?
Briefly, yes.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please, what's your name and
Sure. For the record, my name is Marshall Subak, S-U-B-A-C-H. I'm an attorney at Hunt and Subak, located at 1035 South York Road in Bensonville. I'm also a resident of Wooddale. I represent the petitioner, Joe Tulo. This is at 365 East Irving Park Road. The property is zoned to C1. This building was built in 1960. The building is a mixed use. It has residential on the second floor with a garage, and the first floor has 1,850 feet of either office or retail space, and then 2,950 square feet of warehouse. Prior tenant was Earth Paint, which we probably remember. They were there for about 9 years. They were a non-for-profit C3, and they ran into financial trouble and were not able to pay rent for quite a long time. Since that, my client has had very little activity as far as trying to lease out this building. He's trying to keep everyone wants to keep the vacancies down on Irving Park Road as best you can. We're asking to expand these permitted uses for C1. I just want to give a little bit of background for some of the newer members so they understand how the zoning works and what happened in the history of this. A couple years ago, the City Council adopted the UDO, which in part of the UDO adopted, changed some of the zoning areas. And when these zoning areas got changed, they came up with what are called permitted uses, special uses, and that's how it's always been. But what's on the list is what's most important. And not every business owner had the opportunity to hire an attorney to advocate for what they needed. A lot of the business owners didn't even know the zoning changes were going on. They got notice, but when they would call staff, and no issues with staff, they would say, nothing's going to change with your current tenants. What they don't realize is when you go then, you lose that tenant, now you got to fall under the current code. If you look at the permitted uses for C1, it's like a bakery, a coffee shop, a grocery store, home garden center, medical office. And if you start thinking about those uses with this building, none of them are going to fall under those permitted uses. So now you're faced with finding something that's on the list that's a special use, and as a tenant wanting to come into town, if they hear that, hey, we have to go through this process to get a special use permit, that's a 3 to 4 month process. Most tenants are going to say, I'm going to look somewhere else. So this is just expanding the opportunities to try to get this place rented. Petitioner worked with staff closely and to kind of come up with a list. Quite honestly, I don't think the list is long enough, but because we went through the hearing already with the CDC, we're stuck with the 3 that are being requested. One of them is a printing establishment. That was one of the prior uses from years ago that was there, so that's why that one we asked for. I'm not sure, quite honestly, if there's that many other printing businesses even around any of these days, just because of the change in the market, but that is a possibility. Internet sales and warehouse, that one from the list came up because he did get a call from somebody who wanted to do internet sales for olive oil, which sounds interesting, and he would store it in the warehouse. I knew Nunzio would love that, right? Store it in the warehouse, but then again, find out that it's not a permitted use, so they went on their way. And then the last one is to make this for a contractor's office. There's a large dock door. Again, the warehouse is 2,900 square feet plus. That's probably the best chance to get this occupied for maybe somebody who's in the trades, like a plumber, electrician, HVAC contractor, who needs warehouse space, maybe needs an office to take this. So expanding this is not going to open the floodgates for all the other C1 areas. It's just adding 3 to the list. And you're going to hear more of these changes. If you remember, we went through that process of changing the UDO and the contentious hearings we had with some of the property owners. It was said, hey, we're going to adopt this, and there's going to be times that we're going to maybe have to look at this list and change it and make adjustments as business owners come forward. This is one of our first opportunities to make these changes. So it doesn't mean the UDO is bad, doesn't mean the initial list is bad, it's just recognizing what the realities of a 1960 building with limited parking. I would love to have a grocery store there. It's not going to happen. Love to have a bakery there, coffee shop. Those are just not realistic permitted uses. So that's why we're asking for this approval, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Alderman Wood, Artie Woods?
Stacy, have any residents reached out with any concerns on any of the three uses, or any other aldermen? I haven't heard anything.
We received no public comment.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Ames?
So regarding the parking spaces, with any of these uses that would come in there, is there enough parking for any of those businesses, since it's a very small parking lot?
So they have 4 public-facing parking spaces that face Irving Park Road, and then they have 2 that were recently striped by earth paint in the back. A change in use, as long as they're not adding more dwelling units, more square footage, or changing the parking requirements significantly. So for example, let's say there was, I don't know, I had something written down, but for example, a daycare that required 2.5 spaces per 1,000 square feet, and the proposed use that wanted to go in was a coffee store that required 10 per 1,000 square feet. Then they might have to provide some off-site parking somewhere. But what earth paint was required to have 4 spaces per 1,000, and these 3 uses are required to have 4 spaces per 1,000. So they would not be required to add any additional parking. They would just be limited to what's on site, or if they could rent spaces from someone else off-site.
So I guess I'm thinking if any of these 3 types of businesses come in there and there's staff involved, and are they going to be parking on the residential streets? I mean, it's not a big parking lot to begin with, and if there's customers and employees, where would they park?
Director Springer?
Usually, businesses won't rent a place that doesn't accommodate parking for, their staff and for their customers. So we haven't really run into that. If we do, we would, police would enforce any police regulations, and community development would enforce other regulations if they were being violated.
Thank you.
But Ms. Ames, you bring up the point about the list, is that the list has places like a coffee shop or a grocery store needs lots of parking. So that's why the original list doesn't really even fit this building. We're hoping that it's a contractor that doesn't have customers coming all the time. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anybody else? Alderman Catalano?
So as far as auto mechanics, that's not, that won't be required, right? I mean, we can't have auto mechanics in that location under this.
Director Springer?
No, automotive uses would not be allowed in this zoning district.
Alderman Woods?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just chime in. I think Mr. Subak summed it up with the accepted uses require 15, 20 parking spaces. So essentially, if you take that list, he's got 0 options. This is kind of a low ask. And most of those businesses are really 1 or 2 person run businesses. The contractor, it's not going to be, Pepper Construction's not moving in there with 5,000 employees. It's going to be a small 1-man, 2-man show that needs a place to, store his ladders and stuff, and some material that maybe he needs for tomorrow, and might have 1 or 2 people in the office. The same with the print shop. It's not going to be a huge print shop. It's going to be a 1, 2-man person, 2-person
Right.
shop. Again, low impact. I personally, not quite sure he'd get any of those, but I'm willing to at least give him the option to get a tenant, as the majority of the other ones. I mean, there's not a prayer of getting those businesses in that spot, and I don't feel comfortable just taking away his opportunity to, realistically rent the property and earn some kind of return on his investment. That's,
Anyone else? A roll call, please.
Alderman Artwoods,
yes.
Alderman Currielli,
Yes.
Alderwoman Fonseca,
Yes.
Alderman Carr,
Yes.
Alderwoman Ames,
Yes.
Alderman Artie Woods.
Yes.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
That passes. Items to be considered at future meetings, UDO text amendments, September 25th, Bryn Mawr 3, PUD, September 25th, and chickens in September or October. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
All right, I'd like to call to order the Public Works Committee meeting. Let the minute taker note that the same elected officials and staff are present. First off, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 14th, 2025.
Second?
Any comments, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Report and recommendation, we only have one tonight. First, approval of a proposal from John Neary Construction Company for the Pine Lane Sanitary Extension Project in an amount not to exceed $70,975. That is my motion.
Second?
Director Lane.
Thank you, Chairman. A couple weeks ago, we brought a proposal from John Neary to extend the water main along Pine Lane, which the council approved. Since then, we've been speaking with the developer of two of the lots along that stretch, and he was open to the idea of the city installing the underground utilities and paying an additional tap-on fee, and requested that the city consider extending the sanitary sewer main as well under the same type of arrangement. So we received a proposal from John Neary Construction. We would extend the sanitary sewer to serve all 6 of those undeveloped lots over there. And then again, we will work with the legal department and the developer to work out a fair additional tap-on fee to recoup some of those costs. Noteworthy that these developers would otherwise have to extend the utilities themselves, so the city's saving them the trouble of having to do that. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this one? No? Alderman Woods?
Yeah, so does this complete loop there also, so that betters the system over there?
Yes, so both the sanitary and the water main will be closed in that area.
Excellent. So, big benefit for the city.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Alderman Artwoods,
Yes.
Alderman Currielli,
Yes.
Alderwoman Fonseca,
Yes.
Alderman Carr,
Yes.
Alderwoman Ames,
Yes.
Alderman Artie Woods.
Yes.
And Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
And that passes. Items to be considered at future meetings, the South Plant repair on September 25th. Anyone have anything else they would like to add? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.